decent turnout in the away end, but the vast majority of people in this 8,000 plus crowd rooting for Southend United, who come into the game in a really good form. This will be a very tough test for Brackley this afternoon.
And Brackley forced to make a couple of changes this afternoon, Tim, to the side that drew 0-0 with Gateshead. Gaz Dean and Zach Lilly both suspended. I believe both one-match suspensions. Gaz Dean for accumulating 5 yellow cards, and obviously Zach Lilly for that red card last weekend. But they've still got a pretty strong back line, haven't they, with Tyler Lisser, who I thought was really good on Wednesday against Everton, and also Michael Nottingham, who's back in the side, and Kyle Morrison. So 3 decent replacements there.
Yeah, I think it's what you raise there is really important, and the opening 5-10 minutes to see that new back line just settle in, not conceding early, is going to be important for Brackley. Both Zach Lilly, Gaz Dean, amongst the early names that manager Gavin Cowan will always pencil into his side. So they're a big miss this afternoon, but in Gaz Dean's absence as captain, Shane Byrne takes the armband as we're underway here at Roots Hall. Southend kick off wearing dark blue shirts and shorts, white socks. Brackley in traditional red and white, and we're underway. An early cross comes in and cleared away by Kyle Morrison. Haven't mentioned Callum Stewart yet, but he's starting his first league game for Brackley, having come in from Shrewsbury on loan, made an impressive first appearance off the bench, started in that National League Cup game on Wednesday, and we're expecting a lot from him as Matt Lowe puts the ball up the wing to Danny Waldron, of course, who played here at Roots Hall. Danny Waldron with a chance on goal. And my goodness, that was a sort of opportunity that, if that had been taken, the ball's not yet cleared, still in the penalty area, fired in by Matt Lowe, and it'll be an early corner for Brackley. But Kieran, what a chance for Danny Waldron there.
Absolutely fantastic chance for Waldron down the right hand side and cut into the box, and just didn't quite get his shot away, did he? But an early corner had been forced for Brackley Town, and that's a really lively start for Waldron, who I felt has actually looked in decent nick, hasn't he, over the last few weeks, but he'll be disappointed he didn't hit the target there.
That was a golden opportunity to put Brackley ahead in this, well, just with 60 seconds on the clock. But as it is, it's an opportunity for a corner. Ryan Haynes will take it from the right. It's a poor corner, doesn't get past the first man, but Brackley keep possession as Jack Price feeds it in and passes it back to Tyler Little, who's the final man for Brackley in the edge of the centre circle. Puts it towards the edge of the box. Morrison gets up and wins the header. And Scott Pollock, who's forced his way into this team, and to the exclusion of Morgan Roberts today, which is perhaps a surprise to some Brackley supporters. But Roberts on the bench because I think the way Scott Pollock has been playing, that number 7 shirt, made him almost undroppable. So another one of those changes to the Brackley lineup, but they've made a lively start to the game here as Pollock spreads it out to Little. Shane Byrne starting his first game after that long layoff following that injury that he picked up away at Hartlepool. Played half a game in the National League Cup game against Everton on Tuesday, and everybody will be pleased to see Shane Byrne back in that midfield berth for Brackley, pairing up with Jack Price as the midfield 2 for Brackley this afternoon.
Well, when we get a chance to catch our breath, Tim, we will go through the 2 lineups for you, but in fact there might be an opportunity now because it's just run out of play, so we will run through the 2 lineups for you. Brackley Town, then they line up with Johnny Maxton in goal, a back 3 of Tyler Little, Kyle Morrison and Michael Nottingham, and you've got Jack Price in there, Matt Lowe, Danny Walden, Shane Byrne, a welcome return to league action, Callum Stewart and Ryan Haynes for Brackley. For the Southend side, goalkeeper Nick Hayes, Gus Scott Morris, Nathan Ralph the captain, Ben Goodliff, Andy Dallas, Sam Austin, Harry Taylor, familiar face in Slavy Spazov, the former Oxford United player, of course, just 4 games he played for them, but he did play a few periods on loan at Banbury as well. Keenan Apaya Forsome, James Morton and Harry Boys. The substitutes for Brackley this afternoon: Cameron Gregory, Ricardo Calder, Miracle Offacore, Morgan Roberts, and as Tim just alluded to, Bailey Hobson, Justin Donowa and Connor Hall. So goodness me, manager Gavin Cowan's got some options on the bench there from an attacking perspective. The substitutes for Southend, the goalkeeper Colin Undy, Jack Bridge, Josh Walker, Joe Gubbins, Cav Miley, Leon Paralon and Ollie Coker as the ball runs out of play for a Southend United corner. Tim.
Yeah, so good attack there by Southend, and they earn an early corner. We mentioned at kick-off how important it is that Brackley don't concede early here. All of those players who've slotted in today are more than capable, but nevertheless this is not a familiar line-up for Brackley at the back. Michael Nottingham just coming back from injury as well, so really important that Brackley can defend well here and play themselves into the game. Here comes the corner from the right, and Southend player got his head to it, but it was high and wide.
Yeah, it's a decent corner though, wasn't it? Whipped in and in-swing and vicious in-swing corner. The rain's starting to fall and the wind's picked up a little bit, and I think that corner was a little bit wind assisted. And Tim, after our trip to Halifax a couple of weeks ago when the heavens opened, I'm pretty glad we're indoors today in an indoor press box as the rain absolutely heaves down at Roots Hall.
Yeah, we had a few spits and spots earlier, but now it really is coming down, and as you say, being driven by the wind from right to left. That was captain Nathan Ralph with that header. A good moment there for Southend, but Brackley survive, and they've got a throw in now midway inside the Southend half, up the Brackley right with Tyler Little, and Matt Lowe's being grappled there, but referee says nothing doing, and then Jack Price uses all of his experience to just tuck the ball back to Maxted, wearing all pink this afternoon. And Tyler Little in action, does well, does the Brackley man. He's somebody who's certainly looking for in this game to step up and fill those big boots of Lilly and Dean in those central defensive positions. Usually Little is that right wing back, so an unfamiliar position for the Brackley man, but he's made a good start to the game as he clips it up towards Pollock. I think that will just skip off this wet surface out for a Southend throw, just in front of the Brackley supporters gathered in the stand away to our right. We haven't mentioned our commentary position yet, Kieran, but it's slightly odd to be behind glass and not sitting in amongst supporters.
At least it's warm.
Yeah, that's true. So we're looking out through this glass-fronted commentary box with fellow commentators for the BBC Essex and so on, as Callum Stewart, almost his first touch of the game. Neat little touch there to Scott Pollock, but Scott Pollock's going to be muscled out of it there, and then Callum Stewart nips in. I don't think it's a corner, I think it'll be a throw in right on the corner flag to Brackley, but Gavin Cowan in front of us, remonstrating there with the fourth official. He's soaked to his skin, is Gavin Cowan, because he's out right on the touchline beyond the edge of the stand, and as the rain comes down, he's not bothered about that, clearly, Cowan, but free kick given against Brackley from that throw, and that will allow Southend to just relieve that little bit of pressure. Yeah,
and the free kick given against Brackley there didn't really do much for Gavin Cowan's mood, did it? I always feel sorry for the fourth official. He's standing there between the two managers. He has to keep them apart, keep them calm, and whenever a decision goes against the side, then the fourth official's the one that gets it in the neck, Tim.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's a regular listener will have heard me say before, I do not understand why ground regulations don't specify a certain distance between the two dugouts, because that is not a good arrangement this afternoon, because both managers can hear exactly what the other one is saying, not only to their own benches but to the fourth official, and that's a ready-made, not ideal situation. As Lowe goes up, gets his head to it, and Danny Waldron goes in, loose ball falls for Callum Stewart, played into the Southend penalty area. Matt Lowe in pursuit, defender comes across, puts it out for a Brackley throw, but good vision there by Callum Stewart. We saw that when he turned out against Gateshead. He had 30 minutes and he's certainly bright. As the cross comes in, but the header came in from Matt Lowe. Goalie made a little bit of a mess of it. Callum Stewart came in and couldn't turn the ball in, just turned it the wrong side of the post. But good moment there for Brackley, and they've made a really positive start to this game, as have the visitors. Made that trip down the M1 and around the M25 as we're 9 minutes played here at Roots Hall, as the rain continues to come down. But certainly the visitors who've had the better of these opening stages of this National League game here. Southend United 0, Brackley Town 0. And Tyler Little's taken a blow to the face there. He's going to be okay, but he's conceded another corner to Southend, and again Gavin Cowan fully engaged with the fourth official here, who's Jordan Crossley. He's in for a busy afternoon, I would suggest. So corner to come in from the right as the Seagulls swirl round here, just half a mile or so from the seafront. Corner comes in, and Michael Nottingham big and strong in the air, half clears, but opportunity now for Southend to play the ball in again, and Danny Waldron gets his head to it this time, and then Callum Stewart tries to bring it away but slightly overplays the pass. And now Harry Boyes on the right with an opportunity for Southend to get the ball into the penalty area, and it'll be another corner to Southend as Brackley, a little bit of last-ditch defending, put the ball out to concede another corner.
Yeah, Kevin Marr just appealing for a foul just outside the penalty area. The referee was pretty well placed. It was a coming together, really, to be honest, between Goodlip and Pollock, and it's gone out of play for the third corner of the afternoon for the home side.
So Gain to come in from the right. It's a left-footed, so it's an in-swinger. Played in low. Southend head gets to it first. It went into the near post. Southend still have possession. It's Sam Austin. Tries to cross it in. Pollock's across covering. Out for a Southend throw, just a few yards in from the corner flag. As Gavin Cowan reaches for a towel to dry himself off. His jacket is drenched by the looks of things. So it throw into Southend. Harry Boyes with the ball in his hand. Throws it short to James Morton. Morton still got it, goes to the bylines. A good cross in, deep cross. Brackley need to defend this well, and they did, but Southend put the ball out for a Brackley throw. Well defended, and Brackley are through this opening. 11 and a half minutes, still 0-0 here as the rain again comes down. It's squally out there. It's coming down quite hard again.
Yeah, good defending there from Brackley, and Jack Price tidying it up and then winning the throw as well. So a little bit more pressure on the visitors' defence in the last couple of minutes, but so far Brackley holding firm.
Yeah, exactly that. Good start by the visitors. It's a real tough test. Southend in a good run of form. They went 4 games just losing 2 and drawing 2, but since then they've progressed in the FA Cup, won the last 2 league games, both by a score of 3-0, a couple of clean sheets, scoring 6 goals. So full of confidence, just up into those playoff places in 7th, Southend, and they certainly are a club set up to make those promotion places, if not automatic promotion. Be right up there with Carlisle and Rochdale and Forest Green Rovers, you'd expect, come the end of the season.
In the Championship, Oxford United have the lead at Hillsborough. Oxford United 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Struggling Sheffield Wednesday, of course, went into administration yesterday with a 12-point deduction. United have an early lead there.
Good news for one of our teams, and so far so good here for Brackley. Ball on the halfway line, in the air. Byrne gets up well, and the ball comes out to Gus Scott Morris on the far side, and for Southend that's a deflection. It'll be a Southend throw in just on the halfway line, opposite side of the pitch to our commentary position. We are high above this good old-fashioned wooden stand. Runs just more or less the length of this side of this Roots Hall ground. Ryan Haynes looks for Danny Waldron, but that's straightforward for defenders to deal with. But lovely touch from Danny Waldron, and finds Callum Stewart, goes to the byline, tries to cross it in, and then defender does a good job for his team. But another good moment there for Brackley, given as good as they've got in these opening stages. And the ball then played forward, the crowd appealing for a foul by Carl Morrison on the Southend player, the referee having none of it. And then Brackley fire it up the other end, and it just rolls through to keeper Nick Hayes.
And that's a moot point you make there, Tim, because the crowd is probably north of 8,000 here again this afternoon, and Gareth Rhodes is going to have to be made of firm stuff, isn't he? Because there's going to be an awful lot of pressure put on the officials by this partisan and very noisy home crowd. And so far Gareth Rhodes got that one right, I think, and he got the previous one right as well.
Yeah, it's potentially quite a hostile home crowd getting behind their team. Very well supported team. Former league team, of course, now in their 5th season of National League and desperate to get back to their league status. And when you see the setup here at Roots Hall, who could argue with that? It's a lovely stand away to our left, 2-tier, top tier completely full, bottom tier perhaps half full. There aren't too many spare seats around the ground. Just over 10,000 the capacity. Rarely would they go to 10,000 for safety reasons, as a cross comes in from the right for Southend, and nobody's trying to get on the end of that. Allows Johnny Maxted to gather comfortably. 15 minutes played here. It's goalless at Roots Hall, but it's been a really bright start to the game, certainly for the neutral. Plenty to encourage home supporters as well, when Southend have been on the attack, and the away supporters gathered away to our right have seen Brackley create a number of opportunities, none more so than in that opening minute when Danny Waldron was coming in from quite a tight angle, but one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The ball on the halfway line as Price gets there first. Lovely control by Pollock, touches it into Lowe, and then Lowe's pass just cut out, gives possession back to the home side. Southend almost in a black strip. It is actually dark blue, but it is a very dark blue. Up against Brackley in their red and white stripes, and the ball with Boys on the left, touches it inside to Morton, and then it goes all the way out to the right. Just a little first lull in this game, and then Michael Nottingham steps in, and as he clears,
he's caught something on his shin there, I think, hasn't he? I think he's going to be okay, Tim, but definitely got a whack on the left shin by the looks of things.
Yep, it was a good interception by Nottingham, but wasn't too much in that, but he was certainly caught, and referee, no doubt, it's a free kick to Brackley, just outside the Brackley penalty area, and it'll be Maxted in that all pink outfit who will take this free kick. There's Michael Nottingham, he's up, he's fine. Having missed a good chunk of the season with injury, Nottingham, it's another encouraging sign for Gavin Cowan to see Nottingham back. And aerial challenge there, referee says foul by the Brackley player. So just a little lull in the game for the first time. Been a really energetic opening stage, chances at both ends. We're goalless, and both teams just catching their breath perhaps, as Nick Hayes, wearing all green this afternoon, comes out of his goal and just pops a short pass to Ben Goodliff, and that sets Southend on their way up on the halfway line with the captain Ralph. And then Carl Morrison able to step in for Brackley and just clear the ball out of play. Gavin Cowan on his feet, as he has been throughout the opening stages of this game. Plenty to say to his players. I think aware that this is a game in this environment where those words from an experienced manager are really important. Throw in, ball in the hands of Boys for Southend. And then good work by Pollock and Byrne, who collectively dispossess the Southend player. Ball played forward, deflected, Brackley throw in that ball in the hands of Tyler Little. So Kevin Mayer, the Southend manager, hugely experienced of course, and a firm favourite here as a former player. In his 4th season here at Southend, he's done a good job by all accounts. And referee's assistant got that one wrong. We saw clearly, didn't we, Kieran? That came off a Southend player.
Referee's overruled, I think. Oh no, he hasn't. I thought he overruled there for a moment. Yeah, but yeah, the referee's assistant got that one wrong. It was a throw to Brackley, but given the wrong way. Yeah. For a moment, I thought that the referee Gareth Rose had overruled him.
Yeah, well, we could see from our commentary position what happened, but anyway, Southend come forward with Sam Austin and finds Spasov. And then, as we've seen so far, Brackley standing strong. Trip on Matt Lowe. I think Brackley would have preferred to retain possession.
I'm not sure,
forward.
Tim, because I think the ball was just about to go through the captain Nathan Ralph, and the referee did try and play an advantage, but I think Matt Lowe is going to be beaten to the ball by Ralph there, so I think that's decent refereeing that time, actually.
Yeah, the referee certainly looked to play advantage. Matt Lowe was just caught. So Callum Stewart in midfield just doesn't need treatment, but he's hobbling. Not quite sure what the problem is, but the ball, free kick for Brackley, almost on the halfway line, just inside the Brackley half, and Johnny Maxter comes all the way out of his goal, 45 yards out of his goal to take this kick. It's something that you'd never have seen in the good old days, as they say, but it's become a very common feature these days. Sweeper keepers and keepers coming a long way out. Free kick taken. Morrison gets up well, but also well defended by Southend. Ball up in the air and collected by Andrew Dallas, top scorer for Southend, been in good goal scoring form. He's on loan at the moment from Barnsley. So the ball with captain Ralph for Southend, plays it out to the left, and Boys, who then links up again with Ralph. They're patient as Stewart comes across and just pops the ball out for Southend throw. So been quite an explosive start to this game, chances at both ends, particularly for Brackley, and then it's just settled down the last 5 minutes or so, a little more cagey. And now Jack Price plays it out to Ryan Haynes. Haven't seen too much of Haynes so far in this game, hasn't been too troubled down that left hand side, and hasn't yet had an opportunity to really stretch his legs up the wing and get in those trademark crosses. Ball at the back with captain Nathan Ralph for Southend. And they've worked the ball well, and now some space for Harry Taylor to advance into. And made good progress here, have Southend towards the edge of the Brackley penalty area, looking for a chance to get the angle for a cross. Cross comes in, and that was really important defending by Tyler Little. And he was clattered from behind. The flag's gone up. I think that was possibly offside, but it was a good cross. You could see who it was being aimed at, and Tyler Little, good defensive header there. He was clattered as he went in. Big and strong, the Brackley man, brave. As we reach that midway point of the half, it's been an excellent first 22-23 minutes of this game. It's goalies here at Roots Hall, and to continue your commentary, here's Kieran Bushnell.
Thanks, Tim. BBC Radio Oxford on BBC Sound. Southend United 0, Brackley Town 0. 22.5 minutes gone in this one in the National League. It's been a decent game of football so far. As Tim mentioned, Brackley may be having the better of the opening 10 minutes or so, particularly early on. Danny Waldron bursting into the penalty area, but not quite getting his shot away when really well placed. And the goalkeeper Nick Hayes also had a sort of a half save to make a few moments ago, didn't he? It sort of dropped to the feet of a Southend defender to get it clear. The ball is with Southend at the moment in their own half. of the field with Taylor. Taylor back in field to the centre half, Goodliff, who plays it forward nicely to Sam Austin, the midfielder, who chips it over the top looking for Slavy Spazov to chase. He's got a bit of pace as Spazov, the former Oxford United youngster, and finds Austin again, just being forced back towards the halfway line where Scott Pollock closes down Morton, but Southend just keeping possession again with Spazov just outside the penalty area. A little neat ball into Dallas, but intercepted well, but then picked back up by Spazov and back to Morris, and then Apira Forson on the right hand side. He's got a couple of Brackley players to get past if he wants to get it into the box. He's going to go back, and now the cross comes in towards Spazov, and Morrison gets a crucial interception there to head it out of play, and it rolls out of play for a throw in to Brackley Town. So it's obviously flicked off of Spazov there, and Tim, Gavin Cowan was alluding on Tuesday in the post-match interview that Brackley have, they've had those 3 straight league defeats, but actually, particularly in the Halifax game, they had more than enough chances to win the game themselves, but they just need to be a little bit more ruthless in front of goal when they create these chances.
Yeah, that has been the story of the season so far. And following those 3 defeats, there was the game against Gateshead, of course, when Brackley went down to 10 men after just 8 minutes and put in a really strong performance, you have to say. Again, created some good chances, but also it defended really resolutely with just 10 men for more or less the entirety of the game. So I think that brings them into this game. Should have plenty of confidence, and we've seen that in these opening stages. So the makings of a really excellent game this.
Still goalless though. Southend 0, Brackley Town 0 in the Championship. United still winning against Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough by 1-0. That's on 95.2 FM and Freeview channel 714 and on your DAB digital radios if you want to catch that one. But here at a packed Roots Hall, Matt Lowe goes to ground, nothing given by the referee, and then a free kick given on the halfway line. Gavin Cowan raises both arms in the air. He can't quite believe that one. I would say that Apira Forson went down fairly easily, but I guess gave the referee a decision to make, and he's given the free kick to the home side as the rain has stopped and it's brightened up quite considerably here now, and it will be James Morton with this free kick, just being told to go back to the halfway line by referee Gareth Rhodes. So in comes the free kick towards the right edge of the penalty area. Everybody goes up in the air. It's cleared away by Tyler Little. Brackley maybe had a chance to break there, but Pollock was beaten to the ball by Morton. And now Apira Forson collects the ball in midfield, but he's had the ball pinched from him by Jack Price, who plays that to roll just in front of the back 3 for Brackley. Missing on Tuesday against Everton under 21s in that strange game, wasn't it, Tim? A 1-1 draw where Brackley absolutely dominated and then lost their shooting boots from the penalty spot.
Yeah, disappointing conclusion to the game. Brackley having played so well for the vast majority of it, but there's an important lesson there for everybody to learn as that game just drifted away from them, and then that disappointing penalty shootout.
Well, I thought the ball had gone out of play there, but the assistant over on that far side said no, and said that Goodliff kept it in, which means that Southend retain possession with Morton. Just playing the ball along the back at the moment to Ben Goodliff, and he squares the pass over to the left back and captain Nathan Ralph, who chips it forward towards Harry Boys, who plays a 1-2 with Ralph. Back into Goodliff again, just outside the centre circle, over to the right to Taylor, and then offside given there. Michael Nottingham just stepping up there, and really good experience defending from Nottingham. He knew exactly what was coming. He stepped up and played the offside, and that's good defending from the Brackley Town. Can I call him a veteran? I'll call him a veteran. He's a very talented, experienced player, Michael Nottingham.
Yeah, being very experienced and a veteran, certainly a really important addition to Brackley's squad this season. And good to have him back in contention for places after that long-term injury that he suffered earlier in the season.
Ball hits the corrugated roof on the far side, but bounces the right side and back into the arms of the Southend United player. I have noticed, Tim, a little air of frustration perhaps creeping into the home supporters. We're only 29 minutes into the game, but just a little bit of a hint of frustration, and that might play into Brackley's favour if they can keep frustrating them, and maybe like we saw at Hartlepool, the supporters get on the backs of the players a little bit, and that can always put them under a bit of extra pressure.
Yeah, Hartlepool, really poor example of that from the home side point of view. But that's the important thing for Brackley, just keeping Southend out here, because if they go ahead, the crowd will really get behind them.
They've got a chance now because Boyes tries to get the ball into the penalty area, cut out though by Kyle Morrison, but it's another Southend United corner. They're racking up the flag kicks now, the home side. That's 4 corners to Southend, and it'll be Harry Boyes will take this. It's going to be an outswinging corner, raises both arms in the air. Johnny Maxted looking to make himself big in the Brackley Town goal. In comes the corner, outswinger it is towards the back edge of the 6-yard box. Good header there, I think, from Little and into the arms of the goalkeeper Maxted, who clears it up over halfway line for Danny Waldron to chase on. He's onside, Waldron, but he's totally on his own. There's nobody in the box for him. He then squares the ball to Danny Waldron, but cleared away. That was a bit route one there, wasn't it, from the goalkeeper Johnny Maxted. He sent the drop kick, launched into the other half, but there was no support for Waldron at all there, and just allowed the goalkeeper to eventually get it clear.
Yeah, I think that was an example of an excellent distribution by the keeper. Johnny Maxted saw Callum Stewart. He's got the pace, got beyond the 2 defenders, tried to square it in, as you say, for Danny Waldron coming in, but yeah, wasn't able to control that. That was a difficult situation, but great moment for Brackley, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, just lacking a little bit of support. Callum Stewart and Waldron. Well, Stewart on his own initially, Waldron bursting forward, but they didn't quite get the cavalry forward in time quickly enough. And now Brackley with some defending to do, as Roots Hall is now bathed in sunshine, as Austin tries to drift across and takes burn with him and finds Morton. Back over to Morris to Wharton, and out to the right and headed away by Michael Nottingham. Big appeal for handball from the home side, not given by the referee. Then the 2 Southend players hit the deck. Referee had a good look at that as well. He was in a good spot there, the referee Gareth Rhodes, to give neither of those. And the crowd just starting to get on the backs of the officials as well, as the ball goes back through to the Southend United goalkeeper Nick Hayes. It's a glorious afternoon now. We have that rainstorm, and now it's like a summer's day again at Roots Hall. That will be a foul, as Shane Borner brings down the Southend men right on the halfway line. I think that's Morton. That is Austin that's gone down under the challenge. Taken quickly. It's a good lift. Good lift receives a ball back over the halfway line. Goes left to Ralph. Ralph just miscontrols that. Ralph wearing a face mask to protect presumably an injury that he's received, so he's quite easy to spot with that face mask on, Tim, the Southend United skipper.
Yeah, and as you say, bright sunshine here now. We're at the seaside, the sun's shining, and just what you imagine when you come to Southend-on-Sea. Some blue sky in the distance, and really absorbing game that we're watching here.
The last day of British summertime, Tim, today. The clocks go back this evening, so we'll be under floodlights in the second half next weekend, won't we, against Notts County at St James Park? Well, we definitely will, because it's a 5:30 kickoff, so we would be under floodlights for the whole game, as Brackley just tidy things up nicely there. Callum Stewart playing the ball back to Johnny Maxted. Nice ball over the top, looking for Waldron to flick it on, but picked up though by Harry Taylor over on that right side, but it's going to go through to Nottingham, who's going to roll the ball back again to Maxted, who doesn't take a touch. He just fires it straight up the middle of the pitch again, and that's an offside without a doubt there. I'm not sure why the flag hasn't gone up there, because he looked offside to me, and that is a goal to Southend United, and it looked a yard, 2 yards offside, and Andy Dallas has scored. The players are surrounding the referee. I'm not surprised at Tim, because that looked miles offside.
That had to be offside, and the referee has gone over to his assistant, and if the referee consults his assistant, surely this will be chalked off.
Well, I'm not sure it will, because the assistant played it on, and it was miles offside, but we'll see what the referee gives here. This will not be doing Gavin Cowan's mood any good at all if this is given, Tim. Andy Dallas with the goal. All the Brackley players are around the assistant and the referee. What's the decision going to be here? He's given the goal, I think. Oh no, you can't have given the goal, because there's boos around it. It is offside. Well, that's what we call a late flag, Tim. He didn't give it.
Well, look, fair play to the officials, because they made a decision, and then they've been brave enough to go back and acknowledge, look, we got that one wrong. And my goodness, the Southend manager was remonstrating with the fourth official, but I think
it's the right decision.
Just about everybody in the ground could see, including ourselves, that was plainly offside. And well, that's we can breathe again here.
Well, there we go. I'm glad my peepers are still working as a former assistant referee, Tim, because I had my arm up for the offside straight away. Now there's a chance perhaps for Brackley on the counter, because Waldron gets the ball across towards Stewart, over the head of Stewart though, and cleared away by Gus Scott Morris up to the halfway line. And wow, I'm very pleased that decision was made, because otherwise Gavin Cowan would have been potentially in the book or off, because he would have been absolutely apoplectic if that had been given, Tim.
Well, in fairness to Gavin Cowan, he looked pretty cool, because I think he knew surely this decision will be challenged.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But as you're speaking, Matt Lowe gets a cross in and cleared out of the play for a corner. It really is livening up here at Roots Hall. Just quickly before this corner is taken in the Championship, Cameron Brannigan has doubled Oxford United's lead. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford United 2 on 95.2 FM.
Well, yeah, as we were commenting on the disallowed goal, great attack by Brackley, slice clearance sets up this corner.
Little with the corner towards the back stick. Good claim from the goalkeeper. It's a bit too close to the keeper, really, Nick Hayes, and their sort of meat and drink claims for goalkeepers at this level. And now Southend on the counter themselves, with Scott Morris down under the challenge he goes. And the referee's given the free kick. Gus Scott Morris stays on the deck.
Again, Kieran, there was not much in that tackle at all, and Callum Stewart certainly felt that was a fair challenge, and he came away with the ball.
Well, you look where the ball was going, it suggested it probably was, but anyway, we're back underway with the centre half, Ben Goodliff, just bringing the ball into the centre circle. Well, we've had all sorts of action in the last few minutes, but it remains goalless as Forson threads the ball through, and then Michael Nottingham has to play it out of play for another Southend United corner. These are racking up, but it's still goalless as we head into the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first half here at Roots Hall.
Yeah, disappointing that Michael Nottingham felt he had to put that out for a corner. I felt he had a little bit more time to perhaps got the ball away. Danger now from another corner.
In swinger this time towards the penalty spot, headed up into the air, not cleared, and the referee spotted. I thought when he spotted a handball in the box, he's given it the other way. The crowd here now really are getting on the back of the referee, because it was pinging around the 6-yard box, wasn't it? The referee's obviously seen, I think, a handball. Southend were crying for a penalty, and referee Gareth Rose, well, I said earlier, didn't I, that he needs to be strong on a day like this, and he's given the free kick against Southend.
Yeah, well, as you say, he is standing strong. I mean, he's doing his job. And Johnny Max did a little bit of gamesmanship here, just going over to speak to the referee's assistant. Where do you want this taken from?
I wouldn't suggest he's running down the clock already, but 7 minutes to go in the first half. Still Southend United 0, Brackley Town 0. Southend have had the ball in the net from that offside. Lowe gets a good flick on to beat Boys. Back to Lowe again down the right. He's got the captain Ralph for company. Does well to get the ball into the box and tipped over the bar by the goalkeeper. And that was a really good whipped cross in from Matt Lowe. And it was Callum Stewart put the pressure on, got the header and tipped it over the goalkeeper Nick Hayes. So another corner for Brackley. They really have been giving as good as they get in this game so far, Tim. It's going to be a Ryan Haynes corner from this near side touchline. Raises his right arm in the air. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger as there's all sorts of shenanigans in the 6-yard box, towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and the referee spots something in the 6-yard box and it's given a free kick. They're easy ones to give. To be fair, the referee was out telling all the players to keep their arms down. They didn't, and the referee has given that free kick against, I think, Danny Waldron in there, and played out to Goodliff by the goalkeeper from the free kick. Nice looking pass towards Boys, but cleared away by Little. Shane Byrne. Back to Kyle Morrison, now Little on this right touchline, plays the ball up the line to Matt Lowe. Low infield to Byrne. Byrne, square pass to Jack Price over on the far side of the centre circle, who receives the ball back Byrne, and he takes it up over the halfway line. Played the ball over the top looking for Callum Stewart, but he's overhit that one over the head of everybody, out of play for a Southend United throw.
Yeah, and we can see Gavin Cowan in front of us. He's frustrated. That was good build-up play by Brackley, but I think he'll feel that Shane Byrne released that forward pass just a little bit too soon. It was not a percentage pass, and just flew out of play for this Southend throw.
I think Gavin Cowan will be pretty pleased though with what he's seen in this first half. Again, maybe just ruining missed chances perhaps, but certainly in terms of their play, they've been more than a match for Southend, as Scott Pollock now bursts down the left-hand side. Does well to get past one man, but then loses it at the second attempt, and then cleared up over halfway, and it's going to roll out a play for a Brackley Town throw inside their own half of the field. But really good initial work from Scott Pollock, but then Gus Scott Morris just closed him down and just managed to pinch the ball off of him at the second attempt and then clear it away. Throw into Brackley Town. Still Southend 0, Brackley Town 0. 41 and a half minutes gone here at a sunbathed Roots Hall. Still waiting for this throw to be taken. The referee was suggesting he gets on with it over there, and he does in the end. Jack Price shaped to try and head that ball forward, but then thought better of it. But it's with Stewart, but now the captain Ralph's going to tidy that up and back to his goalkeeper Nick Hayes. He plays the ball out to Goodliff. Goodliff got acres of space in front of him, so he prods the ball through to Keenan Apire Force and back to Goodliff again. Little square pass to Morton. Morton's got Ralph on this left touchline and finds him. Back to Morton again. Back to Goodliff, the centre half for the home side. Looking for an option again in front of him, but there's nothing there in front of him, so he has to go square again, and now it's Ralph, the captain, just over halfway. Threads a nice looking ball through to Harry Boys. Boys gets a low cross in towards Austin. Closed down though and forced back to Dallas, and Dallas not able to get through there, but a little ball threaded through. And then there's another appeal for another penalty. That wasn't a penalty, without a doubt that was won the ball, and they can shout and scream all they want, Tim, but the ball was clearly won clean as a whistle there, and there was no penalty.
Yeah, and it rather makes a mockery of things when we see the shenanigans down there on the bench with Southend appealing for a penalty when it clearly isn't. And if the ref was to give one, that would have just been because he'd been conned.
Yeah, and dare I say, I don't want to say too much, we've got half to go, but he's had a good first half, Tim, hasn't he? He's overruled the offside, and he's not been cowed by this Southend support as Danny Waldron takes a touch, and he's going to try and get the ball into the penalty area now. Waldron. It's going to be cleared up over the halfway line where Kyle Morrison gets his head to the ball, but it's only dropped to Slazzy Spasov, and now it's with Dallas on this left side, the centre forward. He cuts into the penalty area, squares the ball across to Apaya Forsome. It hasn't been cleared yet. There's a chance here. Good save from the goalkeeper, and he then falls on the ball. So Apaya Forsome gets the ball in. Good save from the goalkeeper, Johnny Maxted. And then he drops on the ball to prevent any chance of the rebound going in. That clearance, though, from Maxted left a little bit to be desired because it squirted out of play for a Southend throw as we go into the final minute of the first half. Free kick given away this time by Little on Dallas. Ironic cheers from the home supporters, and a chance perhaps just in these dying seconds of the first half for Southend to mount one more chance and one more opportunity to perhaps go in front before the break.
Yeah, a good save there by Maxted. He got down low, couldn't hold on to it, but the defence did their job and got it clear. But it's another moment of danger now, Brackley, as they have to defend this free kick. Got
Austin and Boys over this one. Boys raising his right arm in the air. I think Austin may look to take this. In fact, he steps over it. It will be Boys with his left foot into the box, headed away by Ty Little. Not a great free kick, to be honest. Probably just as well from a Brackley perspective. And now Callum Stewart will try and bring the ball away. Still on the ball. And there's 2 minutes of time added on at the end of this first half. We're into that now. And it remains goalless. Brackley have a little bit more defending to do as Southend back in possession with Goodlift, the centre half. Goodlift brings the ball over halfway, but then a bit of a poor ball there, and Shane Byrne cuts it out well, reads the game well, and Byrne threads a nice ball through to Matt Lowe on this right wing, who's opening up his legs down the right, gets a good looking cross into the penalty area, over to the far side where Ryan Haynes picks up the loose ball to Price on the edge of the box, back to Haynes over on the far side. Haynes slips though as he tries to get that cross in, probably still quite greasy over there. It's in the shaded area of the ground, and Haynes just tried to get the cross in, but just lost his footing there. And we are just a minute to go at the end of this first half. We'll go back up to Hillsborough at the end of this first half, where Oxford United are still leading Sheffield Wednesday by 2-0 as we head into these dying seconds. And it's been a decent first half of football, but Brackley just have a little bit of defending to do in these dying 30 seconds or so, because Southend in possession, headed clear, chipped back in by Ralph. Dallas is going to collect this over by the right corner, and Brackley getting numbers into the box to try and prevent a shooting opportunity. Good looking cross in, and it's just gone wide, and it's deflected wide. In fact, it's another corner to Southend in these dying seconds of the first half. We are into time added on at the end of stoppage time now. Corner then to Southend, their 6th corner of the afternoon. It's going to be another in-swinger from the right hand side. It's towards the back post. Ralph tries to win the ball from Morrison, and there goes the half-time whistle. It's been an entertaining first half here at Roots Hall. The boos ring out around the stadium. I think they're probably aimed at the referee, but Tim, from my perspective, he's been pretty strong, hasn't he? He's ruled out that goal, which was clearly offside, and he's not yet been cowed by this vociferous and pretty partisan home crowd.
Now, as you say, good performance by the referee. He's had to be strong, and he has been. Key moment in the half really was, well, there were a couple, of course. First minute of the game when Brackley's Danny Waldron was through on goal, just with the goalkeeper to beat, albeit from a tight angle. What a start to the game that could have been for Brackley. And then that goal that was given when it was clearly offside. Brackley players did protest, and the referee listened and chalked the goal off. But 0-0 at half-time. Been an excellent half here.
There you go, that's the voice of Tim Carroll. Half-time score here, Southend United 0, Brackley Town 0.
Came the 5th minute of stoppage time. That was the referee, I think, being kind. I guarantee, if that's the other way round, Sheffield Wednesday, the home side, are allowed to attack there. But Oxford can't be too unhappy. They're 2-0 up at the break. Eddie Odiambo.
They're 2-0 up, and they're 2-0 up just through Oxford being clinical at times. They've had to be. Oxford being defiant, resilient, and just keeping discipline throughout the half. Sheffield Wednesday have been the team in chaos off the pitch, they're a team in chaos on the pitch. They pop up in unusual positions, all sorts of times. Their players out of position, whether it's in or out of the possession of the ball, and that's conducive to a team who are down at the bottom, who haven't got the quality to back it up. Oxford have played like a Gary Rowett team. I think he'll be very pleased when he goes in terms of their application to this game. They've played it wisely, they've slowed things down, they've quietened down. It may as well be 3,000 in this stadium right now, because there's no noise apart from any time they're protesting against the old regime, or the outgoing regime. So Oxford United 2-0 up, clean sheet at half time. They can't complain, no defensive risks against them at the moment. They're really strong in this game, and it's now, do they press on to try and go and really take the game away from Sheffield Wednesday, or are they going to hold their cards close to them and play reserved and see the game out, which they're entitled to do and could do equally?
81333, start your text with the word Oxford. WhatsApp with Oxford at the top of your message, 08000 321 333. We'll take your voice notes on that number at full time. We'll take your calls on 0808 100 9100. Half time, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford United 2.
Your team, always live with our team.
Bedlam at the Kassam Stadium, and Oxford United dance with delight.
Bringing Oxford United fans together.
History to be made.
Such a joyous season for Oxford United.
BBC Radio Oxford Sport, the official broadcast partner of Oxford United.
Good afternoon from BBC Radio Oxford Sport. 8 minutes to 4 in the UK, and Oxford United 2-0 up at Hillsborough. Brannigan, decent ball in, chipped in by Brannigan. Spencer can't get there, Davis can, and Oxford United have taken the lead through Will Lancashire with a diving header. Good ball into the penalty area. Lancashire celebrates his 4th goal on Oxford United colours, and if you're writing a script for Gary Rowett's side, it probably said get yourself in front early on. They've done just that. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford United 1. Brannigan's got a free kick 30 yards out. He looks like he's going to hit it, and he scores it! It veers away from the goalkeeper but creeps inside the post. Cameron Brannigan doubles Oxford United's lead with another fierce free kick. So Oxford United 2-0 up. We'll tell you what's happening in the EFL and the Premier League shortly. Let's tell you about two big games we're following for you locally. Our BBC Sounds commentary at Roots Hall. Southend United against Brackley Town. Kieran Bushnell.
Where it's Southend 0, Brackley Town 0, but it's been a rip-roaring first half, Jerome, and a massive talking point midway through the half. Andy Dallas put the ball into the net for Southend, but he was 3-4 yards offside. The linesman, the assistant referee, kept his flag down. The players circled the referee, Gareth Rose. He went over to his assistant, had a long conversation with the assistant, and then he flagged for offside, and it was not given. But to be honest, Brackley have been more than a match for Southend in this game. Just 2 minutes on the clock, Danny Waldron broke into the box, but he couldn't quite get his shot away, and that was a glorious opportunity gone. Callum Stewart, the new signing, he forced a fine save from Nick Hayes in the Southend goal, tipped it over the bar just a few minutes before half-time. But it's really anybody's guess how this one's going to go. The half-time score, Southend 0, Brackley Town 0.
Thank you. That's on BBC Sounds, the second half of that one. Our BBC Sport website and app commentary is a huge game in National League North. How's it going? Oxford City against Leamington, Andy Gate.
Half time here, Oxford City 0, Leamington 0, but this game has taken a major twist right before half time. Oxford City have been brilliant, to be honest, Jerome. They've just not done enough to find that goal. Perhaps that's due to Leamington goalkeeper Rogan Ravenhill, who's made a couple of really good saves to deny Tom Scott and Ewan Clark. But right on the stroke of half time, a beautiful ball over the top from Clark made sure it found Tom Scott, and he was running on goal right until Robert Evans pulled him back right on the edge of the box. Free kick Oxford City, but the referee had no option but to send off Robert Evans. So Leamington down to 10 men in this game. Oxford City have been the better team. They've shaded it, but they've got a long way to go to get a win in this one, and it will be hard with 10 men for Leamington in the second half.
Thank you. Banbury United playing tomorrow at Bracknell in the FA Trophy in the Southern League this afternoon. We've got Tame United playing at Biggleswade Town, Division 1 Central. It's 0-0. We've got Didcot playing in Division 1 South against Biddeford. It's 0-0. So let's tell you what's going on in the Premier League. And Newcastle leading in their game against Fulham at half-time. Jacob Murphy's 18th minute goal separating the two sides. 2 goals at Stamford Bridge in the first half. Chelsea against Sunderland.
Here come Chelsea with Neto. Garnacho in space on the left-hand side. Sunderland are backing off. Garnacho into the penalty area. Shoots low through the legs of Roos and Chelsea. They lead in the 4th minute of the game. Alejandro Garnacho with a familiar celebration. He sits on the edge of the advertising hoarding with his back to the Sunderland fans. He takes the congratulations of his Chelsea teammates, and they've scored with their first shot on goal in this game. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 0. Alejandro Garnacho has his first goal for Chelsea. Mukiele, lofted throw, flicked on by Ballard, volley by Traore, and it's smuggled over the goal line by Isidore. It's onside. Sunderland have their equaliser. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 1. It's come from the long throw.
Couple of more matches today, lots more in the Premier League later on to enjoy as well. Manchester United against Brighton, 5:30 kickoff. Brentford Liverpool tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff. Championship results from earlier: Coventry 3, Watford 1, Ipswich 1, West Bromwich Albion 0, Portsmouth 0, Stoke City 1. Here are the half times in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Blackburn 0, Southampton 1. Under fire, Will still has a lead to hang on to. The Southampton boss sees his side 1 up at the break at Ewood Park. Bristol City 1, Birmingham City 0. Derby 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Hull 0, Charlton 0. 2 teams surprising many in the Championship this season. Middlesbrough 0, Wrexham 1. Wrexham looking for back-to-back wins after their result against United on Wednesday night. Millwall surprising many, 1-0 up against Leicester at half-time. Swansea 1, Norwich 1 is a half-time, and of course here at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford United 2. League 1 results: Bolton 1, Cardiff 0, Mansfield 1, Wigan 1. Half-times: Wimbledon 0, Burton 0, Barnsley 0, Rotherham 0. It's Orient 0, Lincoln 0, and goalless between Northampton and Luton. Peterborough 1, Blackpool 1. 2 teams that have been struggling despite almost always when they're in League 1, challenging at the right end of the table. Reading 0, Doncaster 0 at half-time. Stevenage 1, Bradford 1 at the break, and Wickham 1, Huddersfield 0. Half-times in League 2, full-times in League 2, Cheltenham 1, Walsall 0. Bit of a turn-up there. Walsall have been high-flying. And in a Lancashire derby, Fleetwood 2, Accrington 1. In the half-times, Andy Wings Barrow 1 up against Barnet. MK 1 up at Andy Woodman's Bromley. Crawley 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Crewe 2, Grimsby 2. Gillingham 1, Carl Robinson Salford 2. Harrogate 0, Newport 1. Notts County 0, Cambridge 0. Notts County at Brackley next Saturday in the FA Cup. Oldham 0, Shrewsbury 0. Swindon 0, Colchester 0. Tranmere 0, Chesterfield 1. Those are the half times in League 2. Here at Hillsborough, half-time, Oxford United 2-0 up at Sheffield Wednesday. Let's bring in Nick Harris, who's watched this one. Nick, happy with 2-0 or not?
You always got to be happy if Oxford United leading 2-0 at half-time, but just slightly disappointed it isn't more. The chances were there, and what a excellent time for that second goal to go in, because they were just getting back into the game a little bit. Sheffield Wednesday, Brannan was running things in midfield, and then of course the free kick we always expect. We got it from Cameron Brannigan after Crashhead had really missed a very good chance. He missed a couple of good chances. Couple of points of discussion. Certainly the penalty against Prelitz was not a penalty when we had a good look at it, and certainly the foul on Cameron Brannigan just outside the penalty area, perfect shooting distance, looked an absolute dead cert foul. But yeah, you've got to be happy at 2-0, Jerome. What's going to happen in the second half? Twist, changes, stick. What are United going to do?
I think they stick, not least because they've already had to make one substitution in open play with Brodie Spencer having to go off. Any more you could glean from that, Nick? You got the benefit of the replays that we don't.
No, I think it was probably, as Eddie said, I think it was the incident when he tried to cross the ball on the edge of the penalty area earlier, and then I think he got back in position and obviously had the injury. Didn't look too serious, but we don't know if it was a hamstring or what it was. What I got to say, the Sam Long, we think of Sam Long as this resolute great defender. He's not so bad going forward, you know. He's a very good crosser of the ball, and we've seen him on a couple of occasions since he's come on do a really good job.
Eddie, has Sam Long got quicker?
No.
Do you know what I mean, though?
No, I don't think he has got quicker. He's always had an engine, and I think there's so much space out there for him, and Sheffield Wednesday sixes and fours. That's why I alluded to a potential change in that position, because you don't need to have any defensive qualities there today, because Sheffield Wednesday aren't posing that much of a threat.
I know it is. He's got quicker in the mind.
Absolutely, he's a better player than he's ever been, because, like you say, he played so much of his career at fullback to then convert and be a super accomplished centre back. That requires a lot of intelligence, which he's got.
There you go. Eddie's bailed me out rather than mocking me for for that. Rosie, if you're listening, take note. Thank you, Eddie. Nick, Krastev's interesting because he's done some brilliant stuff today, but he's driven us crazy as well.
He has done some good stuff, Jerome. He's done some good stuff, but he's lucky. A couple of times he's been caught in possession in the penalty area. One time he dribbled his way out and it worked out. I think against a better side than Sheffield Wednesday, he really could have been punished. Yeah, and he also had the very good chance when he should have got, the keeper came back at him, but he really should have got round him. But he's also provided some delightful passes, and a strong play in that midfield. But I don't like the way he dwells on the ball in the penalty area, and I think he's got to be careful in the second half. What United mustn't do, goes without saying, is concede an early goal and get that crowd back up again, and the Sheffield Wednesday players back up again.
Rob from Banbury says Krastev trying to walk the ball in every time. Get Luke Harris on in his place. Cutslow yellow, the most dangerous score in football, 2-0. Has anyone said we can still get a draw out of this yet? None of it. We need to put these away. No mercy, no excuses. In Melbourne, Adams not holding his breath, but so far so good is the thought there. What's keep it simple in Bulgarian? Ask Oxford United Americans, which I have enjoyed quite a lot. We'll take the 2-0, but my word, we don't half overcomplicate things. What a weird feeling, says Pete. Never been so frustrated being 2-0 up before. Passing and decision making woeful. Bring some wingers on, get Krastev off. Rapid, but it's just not happening for him. Great first half score wise, says Manuel, but even greater first half for Sheffield Wednesday, knowing they've cured that virus that was their owner. And Thompson and Terry, not a perfect performance, but who cares? We're winning away. Happily take full time now, but would like to see the wingers get a few minutes and a few goals. This is BBC Radio Oxford Sport. If you want the Brackley game, BBC Sounds. If you want the Oxford City game, BBC Sport. If you want this second half, Sheffield Wednesday against Oxford United. 95.2 FM, digital radio, Freeview Channel 714 or OU TV. The second half, live, next.
Every kick, tackle and goal.
And Parker cuts inside. Parker's in here. And City have made it 4-0.
All the action is just moments away.
And it's been taken. All the goals running in.
Banbury
Southern League, Premier Division Central.
We are underway.
This is BBC Radio Oxford Sport. Hit me!
And welcome back to Roots Hall for live second half commentary. Southend United 0, Brackley Town 0. The half-time score at what is now a sun-drenched Roots Hall, and a decent first half performance from Gavin Cowan's men. A big talking point midway through the half. I've never seen an offside flag delayed quite as long as that, a couple of minutes while there was some deliberation. It was the right decision though. Andy Dallas had the ball in the net, but he was yards offside when the ball went in. The assistant referee over on the far side kept his flag down, and thankfully the referee consulted and eventually chalked it off. And that was probably the biggest talking point of the first half, Tim. But Brackley have been more than a match for Southend in the first half.
Yeah, right. Really impressive 45 minutes from Brackley, but it's the next 45 that's going to count here. Brackley have been caught cold once or twice in recent games as the referee's assistant drops his flag, much to the ironic cheers of some in the crowd, as if they've never seen that before. But yeah, I think these opening 5 or 10 minutes of the second half crucial for Brackley. They have conceded early in one or two recent games where they just didn't appear to have quite switched on after the break. I'm sure that would have been part of the discussions at half time as Southend have the ball just on the halfway line. Brackley really quite an attacking lineup with Danny Waldron, Scott Pollock and Callum Stewart all in really advanced positions and pressing Southend.
And some cracking options on the bench as well, Tim, should Gavin Cowan need them.
Yeah, and Southend work the ball out to the right hand side with Taylor up to the halfway line. He links up with Scott Morris. Not a terribly convincing defensive header there by Michael Nottingham. And now a good little passage of passing play, keeping possession for Southend as Dallas threads the ball through to Appiah Forson. Brackley not really seen the ball yet since the restart. Appiah Forson crosses it in. Dallas with the ball on the edge of the penalty area, gets the shot away. Goalkeeper dives, but it's blocked before it gets to him. But Brackley unable to clear, and a little spell of pressure here that Brackley need to defend really carefully. Ball now worked over to the left. And then Southend really just make a mess of that. Simple little pass, two players on a different wavelength, ball out of play for a Brackley throw, and just an opportunity to just settle here. Tyler Little on the right with this with the throw in up towards Matt Lowe. Pollock goes in, but Southend come away with it into the penalty area. Shoot, deflection, and I think that is going to be a corner. Yeah, it looked like it had gone out. Referee waved play on, and then on this far side the referee's assistant raised his flag, much to the protestations of Brackley defenders. But it's a first corner of the second half to Southend, and the massed home supporters are behind that goal that Southend are defending in this second half, making a good noise as the cross comes in, the corner comes in. Brackley headed away with Carl Morrison. Appiah Forson seen a lot of the ball so far in this second half, and the ball at the back with Taylor, and now Appiah Forson again. And the ball worked back to the halfway line. Ball played forward, but Pollock reads it well and gets a header to it. And then Pollock uses his strength and wins a throw-in for Brackley. And we said earlier that Morgan Roberts was on the bench, largely I think because Scott Pollock has just made that shirt his own at the moment. And there probably is not room for Roberts and Pollock in the starting 11, perhaps later in the game if Brackley were chasing things. But Pollock been impressive again in this game as the ball's worked back to Maxted. Maxted just rolls it over to Nottingham, and then Nottingham looks back to Morrison. Morrison plays it up to the halfway line, one for Danny Waldron to flick on, which he does well, and then Matt Lowe just flicks off Matt Lowe out for a Southend throw. And we mentioned the weather earlier. It's hard not to comment on it. We went from pouring rain to what is now gorgeous sunshine. We're just about 10 minutes walk away from the seafront and amazing pier here at Southend. And with the weather as it is this afternoon now, you feel like you are at the seaside as Nottingham plays it high up over the halfway line. Game not really settled into a pattern yet in this second half. Not for Brackley anyway, as Price tries to lay it up to Waldron. And good work by Waldron, forces the defender to come across and put it out for a throw. So Tyler Little with a throw for Brackley midway inside the Southend half. And Price steps in. It's such important work for his team, does Price. And now Matt Lowe's away. Can he get the cross in? Crosses it in, flashes across the front of goal, and Callum Stewart didn't realise that was going to come across and was just a yard or two away from it. Good work by Lowe, and referee says that Nottingham pushing the back on, I think that was a Slavi Spazov, and he goes down. The referee has no doubt in awarding that free kick that'll be taken by Gus Scott Morris. Looked to take it quickly and then realises that there's not really a good option on, so allows James Morton to come across. So everybody forward for Southend apart from Harry Taylor, who's the one player who stays back. So left-footed to the edge of the penalty area, the free kick comes in, and Jack Price clears up towards that man Harry Taylor, who stayed back, the last defender. Good footballing side, you have to say, Southend. They've been matched by Brackley from a footballing point of view this afternoon, but it's good quality of football that we're watching here in the National League this afternoon. Really good game of football between two pretty well matched teams. The fact that the two teams are level is just about a fair reflection on the game so far. It's everything to play for here. And another free kick given away as Matt Lowe nudges the Southend player in the back, and referee says, yeah, free kick taken quickly by the home side. The crowd just hushed at the moment, waiting for the first significant action really of this half. Referee says that Pollock fouled Dallas. Not sure there was too much in that, but it's not in a dangerous position. Free kick taken quickly, and it's with Taylor at the back for Southend. And now Morton spreads it out to the left. And the ball work back. Patient play here by Southend. Brackley all back in their positions, making it difficult for the home side to find a way through. And cross up to the edge of the penalty area. Chance here for Dallas before he can get his shot away. Nottingham gets in the challenge. Shot does come in from distance. Charged down by Pollock. And now Goodliff lays it off to Captain Ralph. Cross comes in, and there's an excellent chance, and Dallas rose well, got his head to it, thought we might see the back of the net bulge, but he headed just a few inches over from a good position.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Brackley need to just ride out this bit of a purple patch at the start of the second half for Southend. That was a good cross in and header just over the bar. I do think that Johnny Maxted might have had it covered, to be honest, but another warning shot across the bows nonetheless.
Yeah, good start to this second half by Southend. That was a really well-worked opportunity. The cross came in from the left. Could see who it was aimed towards. A big, strong centre-forward with a 9 on his back. Andrew Dallas, top scorer, rose well, got the header in, just over. Now perhaps it's Brackley's turn, but Callum Stewart slips and concedes possession, and now here's Dallas again advancing in on goal. He's up against Nottingham, and Nottingham gets a leg in, slides in. The spectators in front of us with their arms raised appealing for a penalty, which is certainly not what's going to be given. Perfectly timed tackle by Nottingham. He had to get that right, but he did. Slid in and puts it out for another corner.
Yep, they're racking them up, Tim, aren't they? Brackley need to defend this corner again and try and ride this storm out, because it's been a bit one-sided in the second half so far.
The corner, Michael Nottingham just uses his body to ease the Southend player away. Ball comes over to the right-hand side, and Appiah Forson, and then cross comes in from Johnny Maxted, goes up and he's rather clattered, and I think he's going to need some physio attention. So cross came in from Scott Morris. It's a deep cross. Maxted came for it, and the attacker rather collided with him. He took perhaps an elbow in the face. It's a free kick to Brackley when we start. Maxted's sitting up, so he's going to be okay. But Gavin Cowan using this as an opportunity to have a word with one or two players, in particular Shane Byrne, talking to Byrne and Nottingham, two of his most experienced players. These will be important words from the manager.
Into the Championship very quickly while we've got a break in play. Sheffield Wednesday have pulled one back at Hillsborough. Oxford United still leading though by 2-1. That's on 95.2 FM and Freeview channel 714 if you want to catch that one, with Jerome and the team up at Hillsborough in South Yorkshire, here at Roots Hall. It's still Southend 0, Brackley Town 0, and they have just ridden out that early storm, but let's hope that Brackley can start mounting a few chances of their own, because so far in the second half it has been pretty much all Southend.
Yeah, the home side has started the second half well, but as you say, Brackley have ridden it out. They haven't buckled, they haven't conceded. Free kick has Maxted, he's okay. Certainly took a knock there, and being the keeper, he can stay on after the physio attention. It's a header there from Ralph, got up, big firm header away. Brackley throw on the halfway line on the opposite side to the pitch, to our commentary position. Brackley kicking from right to left in this second half. And there's Byrne, good work from Byrne, spreads it out to Nottingham. And not got too many options, Nottingham. Lays it back to Morrison, who looks for a long ball. And the defensive header goes out for another Brackley throw. Brackley just enjoying a little bit of possession here, which they haven't had too much of, and they give the ball away. And now here's Pollock. Spreads it out to Haynes. Not seen too much of Ryan Haynes in this game so far, but he chips it forward to Pollock, who went for the return. Pollock crosses it in, and Matt Lowe battling away there, comes in with the defender, and I certainly couldn't tell who got the last touch, but the referee says, yep, corner to Brackley, and just what they needed, having had that little spell of defending to do. They've just relieved the pressure, and it'll be Jack Price to take the corner. He's indicating to his players, and all know what those signals mean, but the players do. As Haynes comes short, that draws one defender away. Although I would have thought Haynes will be useful with his height, but here comes a corner from the left. And it's a scramble on the ground, and Brackley retain possession with Haynes out to Price. Price crosses it in, charge down, and Stewart picks up the loose ball on the edge of the penalty area, lays it back to Little. Little crosses it back out to Haynes, takes it on his chest, lays it back to Price. Brackley patient here, chips into the edge of the penalty area towards Nottingham. Defender steps in, and then that allows Haynes to pick up the loose ball, and Haynes whips in the cross, gets the charge down by Appiah Forson. Another Brackley corner. Good spell of pressure this from the visitors. So it'll be Jack Price again to take this corner. Haynes has again come short. It's forced at least one Southend defender to come out of their position to cut off the short pass to Haynes. Pollock is lurking there unmarked on the edge of the penalty area. perhaps for the second ball if it comes out. Here comes the corner. Doesn't get past the first man. It's an opportunity for Southend to break. Up over the halfway line is Sam Austin. And now a Pia Forson, seen a lot of the ball in the second half as the Southend man. Brackley are now all back in position. It looks as if Brackley are readying the first substitute of the afternoon. It looks like it'll be Morgan Roberts. It'll be really interesting to see who he's going to be replacing. Danny Waldron possibly. But, that will be revealed in just a moment. Roberts is certainly ready to come on at the first break in play, but Southend have got so it looks like it's Callum Stewart might be the player to come off, and there'd be some logic in that. He had a pretty good first half, Stewart. Not really seen anything of the ball in the second half so far, as the ball still with Southend, and a shot comes in, my goodness, from all of 40 yards. And
a little bit hopeful.
That's not going to trouble Johnny Maxted. So first substitution of the afternoon is Morgan Roberts coming on for Brackley. 60 minutes played. So on the hour mark, Morgan Roberts on, Callum Stewart off. And fresh pair of legs for Brackley with Roberts. We know what he can do, and he'll be relishing this opportunity. He will not have been happy to have been on the bench today, having missed out as well on starting in the National League Cup game, as Gavin Cowan puts his arm around Callum Stewart. He's a fine addition to the Brackley squad, is Stewart.
Yeah, he's had a decent first half, Tim, didn't he? But as you say, hadn't really got into the game at all in the second half, but a good replacement in Roberts, who'll be wanting to show Gavin Cowan.
And now here's Andrew Dallas away, right hand side of the penalty area, up against Michael Nottingham. Nottingham gets half a challenge in, and then the ball not cleared. Southend trying to work an opportunity, but they're forced back by the Brackley defence, and then ball comes out to Taylor and a Pia Forson, a man who's seen so much of the ball in this second half. And now here's Morton. This patient build up by Southend. Pia Forson up against Roberts. Roberts yet to touch the ball, but he's doing important defensive work for his team there. Cross not yet come in. There's a little nudge in the back on Dallas, but he goes over in a spectacular fashion, referee having none of it. But then Brackley give the ball away, and then ball just bobbles through to Maxted.
There was contact there on Dallas, but I think because he made such a meal of it, that almost sometimes that cons the referee a little bit too far. I think there was contact, and if he hadn't have made quite such a meal, the ref may have had a bigger look at that. The assistant referee also had a very good view of that and kept his flag down. So Dallas possibly a little bit fortuitous there, not to maybe get a yellow card if he thought it was simulation as well.
Yeah, but giving the referee an opportunity there to make a decision, and he made the right one, I think, certainly in our view. But a dangerous moment for Brackley as Dallas went down. Again, Dallas seen a lot more of the ball, been quite dangerous in the second half. Didn't see too much of him in the first 45 minutes, but there's no doubt about we've got a really good game on our hands here. And one of these teams is going to create a moment to break the deadlock as Ralph rises, beats Waldron in the air and knocks it out for a Brackley throw on the halfway line. It's been an excellent first 18 minutes of this second half, and Brackley have had to defend in the majority of this second half, but they've done so well. And now lovely ball played through for Roberts, runs on left side of the penalty area, crosses it in first time, defender comes across, good clearance, avoided giving away the corner, puts it out for a Brackley throw. But that shows you the danger that Roberts poses. He's so quick. Ball played over the top. Roberts with that diagonal run was straight onto it, wasted no time. First time cross that Waldron would have been expecting and just couldn't get on the end of. So Roberts with the ball at his feet loses out on this occasion, then the ball put out for a Brackley throw. It's gorgeous sunshine here, long shadows across the pitch. And then Danny Walton does good work. Ball whipped in, but not past that first defender. And then Jack Price tries to get a shot in on goal, but it just loops up into the grateful arms of Nick Hayes in goal for Southend.
We still haven't seen any long throws yet this afternoon. I was kind of thinking that maybe in and around that penalty area we might have seen maybe Tyler Little or Ryan Haynes launching one into the box. We haven't seen that yet, Tim. That is something in his armoury, isn't it? So
it is. I think a factor in that is Brackley are missing Lilly and Dean, those adding some height. There is Nottingham, of course, to get in there, but not quite the same threat as Brackley might have with their normal expected starting 11.
They'll both be back, of course, next weekend for the big FA Cup tie. Just one match suspension for both of them today. Lilly for the red card last week, and Gaz Dean for accumulating his 5 yellow cards. So that sort of resets now for Gaz Dean, doesn't it? I'm sure we'll see another 5 between now and the end of the season.
Well, it's the new year, so he's got a little way to go, but for another 5. But as you say, he'll start again. As cross comes in, Price gets up, and then Little gets up, and he's just barged off the ball, free kick. And we're going to see the first substitution then, for a double substitution in fact, for Southend, with 65 minutes on the clock. It's 10 coming on and 28. That's Coker and Perillan are coming on and off. I haven't seen the board, so we'll see who's coming on. So coming on is coming off is Sam Austin, and on is Leon Perillan, and then coming on is Ollie Coker.
Pia Forson's going off, Tim, which surprises me.
Yeah, agreed. He's looked really, really dangerous, really lively, particularly in these opening stages of the second half. Gets a good reception from the home crowd as he comes off. But 2 changes for the home side. We've had 1 change for Brackley. Gavin Cowan got more options on the bench. But we're just at that point in this second half where we're still goalless here at Roots Hall, but it's a thoroughly absorbing game. Time for me to hand over commentary to Kieran Bushnell.
And as you do so, it's a chance for Brackley. It's cleared off the line, hasn't been cleared yet. Brackley very close there to a goal. I'm not sure what happened. It was cleared away, I think, by the goalkeeper clawing it off the line. And just as you handed over to me, that was probably the closest that Brackley have come in the second half. Still goalless. And now Southend on the counter-attack with the captain Nathan Ralph on the left wing. He's got Jack Price just shepherding him, so not able to get the ball in. And Dallas wins the ball from Scott Pollock on the apex of the penalty area. Dallas with a shot from distance, and that was miles wide. It looked perhaps closer than it was initially, but gone wide. And we're going to see a second Brackley Town substitution. In fact, we're going to be 2 substitutions. Miracle Offercore and Ricardo Calder are coming on. So I think a double change for Gavin Cowan's men.
Yeah, so I think we'll see Ryan Haynes coming off for Ricardo Calder.
Yeah, Haynes has been fairly quiet today, hasn't he? Hasn't had one of his best games. And it is Ryan Haynes making way for Calder. Calder, of course, has got a dynamite cross on him. So that's the first change. And the second change, Miracle Offercore, who I actually thought on Tuesday, Tim, looked probably as lively as he's looked so far this season. I thought it was one of his better games. And I think it's Matt Lowe, is it making way? Shane Byrne making way, sorry.
Oh, that's interesting. But Shane Byrne back after a long time, long injury, so it makes sense. He's put in a good shift as Byrne, so Brackley need to just look at their shape here, particularly in midfield.
Don't think he's got any sort of injury or knock there. I think it's purely potentially Gavin Cowan just easing him back into National League football, Tim. As the ball goes forward from the free kick, but it's cleared up to the halfway line where Michael Nottingham wins the header in the centre circle, but it's back in possession with the substitute Perillan, who's going to open his legs up. He's bursting through 2 players, but he can't get past Scott Pollock, who tied us up well. Pollock brings the ball up towards halfway line, squares it to Price over to Tyler Little on the right side of the defensive trio. Back to Little again. He's going to go back to Kyle Morrison. Morrison turns and rolls the ball back to his goalkeeper Maxted, who clears it first time towards the halfway line. Nottingham gets a foot in there on Slavy Spasov, the former Oxford United youngster. And it's with Spasov now. Spasov towards the penalty box, out to the right where Scott Morris is. Tries to get a cross in, but it's come off the substitute Calder. Out of play for a Southend United throw, and it will be Gus Scott Morris with this throw. Still Brackley Town holding Southend 0-0 here at Roots Hall. Scott Morris is going to launch this one in a long throw towards the penalty spot. Michael Nottingham wins the aerial challenge, hooked away up towards the halfway line, and Scott Morris is just going to let it trickle out of play for a throw right in front of our commentary position. He launches it down the line quickly to Ollie Coker, the substitute. Coker with a left-footed shot. It's blocked, hasn't been cleared. Now it has been cleared out of play, and it's going to hit the corner flag. It hasn't gone out of play, in fact. It hit the corner flag and stayed in. Nottingham is going to win the goal kick. Really good defending there from the experienced Michael Nottingham. Dallas not happy, and out of play it is for a goal kick. Sorry, it was Ricardo Calder back there. Apologies.
Yet to touch the ball, but important defensive work by Calder.
Just not letting Dallas get to the ball, and then Dallas just knocking it out of play for a goal kick. 71 minutes on the clock then. Southend 0, Brackley Town 0. In the Championship it's still Sheffield Wednesday 1, Oxford United 2 on 95.2 FM, Freeview channel 714, and on your digital radios. And there's going to be a yellow card for the goalkeeper Johnny Maxted for taking a little bit too long, I think, over this goal kick. The referee did try and get him to chivvy up in the first half a couple of times, didn't he? A little bit early to start thinking about running the clock down. I'm not sure there was an awful lot of time wasting going on there. I think Maxted was purely waiting for an option, wasn't he, Tim? It wasn't as if he was deliberately running the clock down with 20 minutes to go. He was looking for an option in front of him, but a yellow card it is, the first one of the afternoon. Yeah,
and Kieran Wass, I think that this will be an excellent away point for Brackley if they can come away from here with a draw. Nevertheless, the substitutions that Gavin Cowan's made, show lots of attacking intent. Morgan Roberts, Ricardo Calder. Brackley think that they're in this game.
But Coker, there's a chance here. Shots from distance, out of play for a goal kick. The substitute, Ollie Coker. He's had one effort with his left foot. That was an effort with his right foot, but it was a little bit hopeful, to be honest. It was 25 yards out right of centre, and it's just harmlessly gone wide of Johnny Maxted's right hand post. I rather fancy that Maxted will look to get this game back underway pretty quickly this time.
He'd be well advised to.
And he does so. He sprays it out to Ricardo Calder on this left side. Calder, not a good ball from the left back substitute as he gives it away to Gus Scott Morris. Out to the right where Slavy Spasov is up against Calder and Price, and he gets the ball back off of a Price deflection back to Slavy Spasov. Ball in field to Scott Morris, out to the right, ball into the penalty area. There's a chance here for the home side, cleared away again, and then Scott Pollock up to the halfway line towards Offacourt. Now there's a chance for Scott Pollock, but he's totally on his own, just one against four at the moment, and as a result there was no way really that Pollock was going to get through there, but the goalkeeper closed down very quickly by Miracle Offacourt, and he just about gets the ball out of play to Morton, and back to the centre half Goodliff, who plays the ball out back to Morton again, going to carry the ball up towards the halfway line. Morton square past the substitute Ollie Coker, who goes right to Gus Scott Morris on this near side touchline. Back in field to Morton again. Good bit of passing around this field from Southend at the moment. Not the greatest surface, I have to say. It's a little bit bobbly in places, but chance for Ollie Coker to put the ball through to Slavy Spazov, who gets into the penalty area, gets the ball back across towards Coker. Coker challenged really well on the edge of the penalty area by Morrison, who plays the ball upfield, but he's just going to give it away to the centre half Goodliff, who goes back to his goalkeeper, plays the ball out to Ralph, out to the left hand side, and Southend just keeping the ball for a little while here with Goodliff. Scott Morris on the right, but he's going to go wider still to Taylor. Back in field to Morton. Morton into the substitute Coker. Coker in the centre circle finds the skipper Nathan Ralph. Goes out to the left hand side again. Back to Ralph. Ralph to Morton. Just playing a little bit of keep ball at the moment. Coker with a bit of space to run into. Pollock looks to close him down. Out to the right. Tosh comes in. There's a chance here. Hasn't been cleared. It has been cleared to the edge of the penalty area. Still not cleared. Chance to. Good save from the goalkeeper Maxted. As I crane my neck around the stanchion of the stand. And Maxted got a crucial interception there, Tim. I didn't see who got the shot away because my view's slightly skewed there, but a really important save from Johnny Maxted.
Yeah, double chance there. Brackley living dangerously. Big scramble in the 6-yard box and a couple of efforts on goal, but Brackley, breathe again.
But they've got another chance now. Have the home side. Another good save from Maxted, and Calder gets the ball out to Miracle Offacore, but Offacore's giving it away to Scott Morris. Out to play for a throw, taken quickly into Dallas. Dallas on the byline. Back in field to Coker, the substitute. Coker back to Goodliff. And that was a real moment of, not panic, but a real moment of difficulty for Brackley, dealt with well by Johnny Maxted. I'm not sure who got the second shot away, Tim, because my vision was obscure. I think it might have been Dallas, the second one, but a couple of really smart saves from the Brackley Town goalkeeper.
Yeah, we've got these two substantial stanchions in the way, haven't we? It makes things tricky, but Brackley living dangerously there, but still 0-0.
There's a goal in the Southern League Division 1 South. Tame United 1, Biggleswade Town 0. Greg Hackett with the goal there at the ASM Stadium. Here at Roots Hall, it's still Brackley Town level with Southend 0-0, but they've got a chance perhaps to mount an attack now with Ricardo Calder down the left. He steps in field a little bit colder, trying to find Jack Price, and does so. Price just being forced back towards the centre circle because there's no option in front of him, but he does find Roberts. Back to Price again. Price is going to have to go back. He gets a maybe tripped in there at the end there, but not given. And now there's a chance for Brackley into the penalty area with Miracle Offacore. Offacore on the right side of the box to Pollock. Tries to get the ball into the penalty area. Pollock's going to try and shepherd this out of play for a corner, and he does so. Another corner for the visitors. In League 1, Northampton 0, Luton Town 1. That's on BBC Radio Northampton, if you want to hear that one. But I'm going to say please stay with us, because we've got 13 minutes to go, and it's a lively old game here at Roots Hall, where it's still Southend 0, Brackley Town 0, and a couple more substitutions being readied for both Southend and for Brackley. Connor Hall and Bailey Hobson will be coming on for Brackley. Cav Miley and Josh Walker readying themselves for the home side as the ball comes in. Michael Nottingham wins that header, but it's gone wide of everybody, and now it's a chance for the home side to break with Dallas. Dallas brings the ball over the halfway line. Lovely vision to find Parallon. Shot right-footed, good save, smart save, a fairly comfortable one in the end from Maxted, but an effort from Parallon from 25 yards low, but Maxted saw it all the way, and it's held pretty comfortably. Pollock over to Tyler Little, back to Pollock again. Pollock is going to look to switch play perhaps to Calder, because Nottingham just on the halfway line. Nottingham tries to play the ball forward but gives it away again, and now there's a chance again for the home side with Dallas, because there's lots of cavalry in the penalty area. Dallas tries to get the ball in, Kyle Morrison blocks it, but only as far as Ollie Coker gets his feet away, gets onto the left foot, gets onto his right foot to have a shot. Coker on the edge of the box, hasn't been cleared. Scott Morris, shot from Harry Boys to the bottom left corner, and again Maxted equal to that. 11 minutes to go, still 0-0.
Yeah, Brackley, last ditch defending there, was waiting to bring on this double substitution, but Brackley struggling to gain much possession in this second half and rather hanging on here at the moment.
They are, but it is still goalless, and you never know. Just takes one chance, doesn't it? Offacore tries to squeeze himself through the middle. Handball there, though, given against Roberts, I think. And it's a free kick to the home side. We're going to see these changes, and we're going to see Connor Hall and Bailey Hobson coming on. But first of all, the Southend changes. Miley is coming on for James Morton, Cav Miley, and Josh Walker is coming on for Slavy Spazov, who's been full of running this afternoon, the former Oxford United man. And we'll just wait to see who's going to make way for Brackley Town. Hall and Hobson. It'd be helpful if the fourth official could point it our way, really, wouldn't it? But it's going to be Danny Waldron coming off for Connor Hall. That's probably not unexpected. And
good reception, Kieran, from the home fans for Danny Waldron. Of course, he played here for a while, and that's always good to see.
And Bailey Hobson will be coming on for Scott Pollock, and he's had a really good game again this afternoon, Pollock.
Yeah.
And Hobson coming on for these last 10 minutes. That's no slight on Scott Pollock's performance this afternoon, Tim.
No, I think if we were looking for a man of the match at this point, player of the game, it would be Scott Pollock for me. I think he's been excellent, but I think that person may yet emerge, because there's a little way to go in this game, and both these teams are looking to take 3 points from this fixture as we stand 0-0 with just 10 minutes or so to play.
In the National League North, big goal for Oxford City. Josh Ashby has put Oxford City 1-0 up against 10-man Leamington. They have been really up against it the last few weeks, Ross Jenkins' side, but they lead there with about 10 minutes to go at the M Group Stadium. Here at Roots Hall, it's Southend United 0, Brackley Town 0 as the ball is thrown up the line. Little midfield tussle where Connor Hall doesn't really get his first touch on the ball, and now it's with Coker, the Southend substitute. Morgan Roberts tracks back and gets himself into a defensive position, finds Parallon gets towards the byline, ball across the penalty area, and Gus Scott Morris gets an outstretched right boot to that, but it's just over the bar, and that was another chance gone begging for the home side. And it really has been predominantly the home side in this second half, Tim, but so far Brackley are standing firm.
Yes, and Brackley just hoping that they might create a chance and take it and just nick the points, but certainly Southend have had by far the better of things in this second half, and better finishing would have seen them ahead already.
As the sun begins to set over the houses over on the far side, it's going to be quite difficult viewing maybe in a couple of minutes for the last few minutes of this game. The sun will be directly in our eyes in about 3 or 4 minutes time, Tim. Which will make life interesting. And it's with Goodliff to Parallon back to the captain Ralph, who's going to bring the ball over the halfway line unchallenged. Connor Hall getting back just to make sure he's in a bit of a defensive shape. It's with Cav Miley, another one of the Southend substitutes, back to Goodliff again. Goodliff into Coker, first time to Taylor back to Coker again. And then Dallas, who's been really dangerous, the Southend striker, Gus Scott Morris. Back to Gus Scott Morris again, ball across, and crucial interception from Michael Nottingham, who gets his left boot to the ball and gets it out of play for Southend United corner as we head into the dying minutes of this game at Roots Hall. Can Brackley even hold on? Let's hope they can defend this. In comes the corner from Boyce to the back post, headed up into the air by the towering Nottingham. Back to Coker. Coker out to Miley. Miley, left-footed ball into the penalty area to the edge of the box. Back with Gus Scott Morris. Out to Boys. Boys with a left-footed curling cross lifted over everybody's head, curled away from everybody, out of play for a Brackley Town goal kick. And Tim, as we count down the minutes towards full time, 5 minutes to go, you'd say that they would probably take a point now, because it has been predominantly the home side in this second half.
Yeah, Brackley really struggled to get forward in this second half, and it'll be a really hard-earned away point. If they can hold on, they'll still be hoping to create that one chance.
And maybe they can here, because Connor Hall gets the ball across and into the arms of the goalkeeper. 7,963 inside Roots Hall as they look to cheer their side on in these dying minutes of the game. It's still 0-0. Yep, it's difficult viewing now, Tim, as the sun sets. Miley in the centre circle for the home side, out to Parallon, back to the centre half, Goodliff, little triangular pass, isn't it? Finds Harry Taylor to Scott Morris, into the substitute Josh Walker. Walker's closed down well by Morgan Roberts, but it's back with Southend again with Ollie Coker, who's going to turn and open his feet up. And now there's a chance into the penalty area. Referee in a good position and waves that one away as well, as Josh Walker goes down in the penalty area. Had a good look at that again, did the referee Gareth Rose, and then the referee stops play, as he's got to do for a head injury, and gets the boos from the home fans. He had a good look at that, didn't he? The referee had a good view of it. To be fair, Josh Walker wasn't really looking for anything. The fans were looking for it, I think, more than the players there, Tim.
Yeah, look, I think Connor Hall went up. It was a clash of heads, and he's down, needs a little bit of treatment. And that's fair enough. And with some added time, there's still sufficient left in this game for both these teams to believe that they can go on and take all 3 points. And Connor Hall's receiving quite a lot of attention over there. Goalkeeper for Southend has come over and showing a bit of concern for the Brackley man. And both managers have got their players gathered around them here on the touchline, just under our commentary position. And Southend will feel they should have had this game done and dusted, but their finishing hasn't been clinical enough for that. Brackley really troubled keeper Nick Hayes in this second half, but have defended resolutely, and will feel that it's a thoroughly deserved away point if they can hold on.
Yeah, we're going to see a fair amount of stoppage time. We've had 7 substitutions already. There's another one about to take place as well, and it's going to be Jack Bridge coming on these last few minutes to replace Harry Boys. Still Connor Hall receiving treatment in the centre circle at the moment.
Yeah,
I think he's certainly had a whack, hasn't he? Is there blood as well, potentially? I'm not sure. I didn't actually see exactly what happened to him. The sun's very low now, isn't it? But
well, he went up with the defender and he fell awkwardly. It may, as much as anything, be that he's twisted his neck, perhaps. But he certainly went down and looked like he was poleaxed. It's good to see him sitting up, but I'm not sure that he's going to be continuing here, Connor Hall. And I think it looks as if Justin Donowa is going to come on and replace Hall.
So Hall's only been on for a few minutes. It looks, as you say, that his day is done. Justin Donowa is stripped and ready to come on. He's very gingerly being led from the pitch by the Brackley Town physio. I think they've just been told that they can't make the change, Tim. So potentially Brackley will be down to 10 men for these last few minutes.
Well, on what basis?
They've made 4 changes, haven't they? Calder, Offacore,
Oh, they've used
five. They've used five. Because Connor Hall was the other one, wasn't it?
They've also used their 3 opportunities.
Yeah. So they might just have to throw Connor Hall back on for these last few minutes. He does look like he's going to. He is shaking his head. Yeah. So it looks as though Hall's going to have to go through the pain barrier for these last few minutes. We're going to have a lot of stoppage time.
Gavin Cowan puts his arm around Connor Hall, and Connor Hall puts his arm around Gavin Cowan and pats him on the back as if to say, look, I'm okay, just get me back on.
Well, we all know that Connor Hall is all action, isn't he? And he won't want to be off the field if he can possibly help it. We're back underway from the drop board. It's with the captain Ralph over on the far left-hand touchline into Bridge, the substitute. Back to Goodliff with the right-footed ball into the penalty area, gone over everybody's head. It was heading towards the substitute Josh Walker, but it's gone over the byline for a goal kick. We're going to see the additional time coming any moment, and it's going to be 6 or 7 or 8 I think. So we've got a long time to go in this game, still 8 minutes, and we are into that now. So 8 minutes of time added on as Connor Hall makes his way back onto the field, and the view is getting increasingly difficult now at Roots Hall with the sun beating down. This is the slight issue of being in a glass-fronted press box, and also is getting quite warm, like a greenhouse, Tim, as well. So
yeah,
I was wondering if I bring some tomato plants with me, because it's quite warm in here now.
Well, we're well watered as well, so we're certainly growing a few inches this afternoon in here. It's like a hothouse.
Yeah, it really is. Back underway from the throw-in over on the left-hand touchline with Ralph into Goodliff. Goodliff brings the ball just over the halfway line, finds Walker, the substitute. Walker to Coker. Coker's got Scott Morris to his right, but he threads the ball through to Dallas. Back to Scott Morris now. Scott Morris with the ball into the penalty area to Walker. Walker turns, has a crack. Walker shot from just outside the 6-yard box, and it's deflected wide. I don't think Johnny Maxted saw much of that one, and it trickled from Johnny Maxted's perspective just the right side of the post. Corner to the home side, and it'll be Ollie Coker with this corner. It looks like it's going to be a right-footed out-swinging corner towards the penalty spot. Back to Coker again. He's going to, in fact, Ollie Coker was trying to shepherd the ball out from another corner, but by doing so he was in an offside position. So it's a free kick to Brackley Town. 2 minutes of the 8 have gone in stoppage time. Still Southend 0, Brackley Town 0. And keeping an eye on Connor Hall, he's looking a little bit stiff, I have to say, but he is out there. So there's still 11 players on the field as Maxted takes the free kick. Offercall tries to peel away from Scott Morris. Free kick given against Connor Hall, who is adjudged to have backed into the centre half Goodliff. Goodliff takes the free kick quickly to Cav Miley, who's going to bring the ball over the halfway line. Out to the left, back to Miley again. Miley threads the ball through the middle to Walker. Walker has a shot, but it's charged down well, though, by Bailey Hobson, the substitute. And then Goodliff gets his feet slightly tangled, but wins the ball. And thankfully there's a black cloud that's just covered the sun for a few seconds, so we can actually see what's going on again, Tim, as Miley brings the ball over the halfway line. Back to Miley again. Miley through to Dallas over to Parallon to his left, back in field to Cav Miley again. Miley to Coker, back to Miley. Brackley just getting numbers behind the ball just to try and prevent a ball coming into the penalty area, but it's with the skipper. Whips a good cross in to the far side, offside again. Good cross in from Nathan Ralph, but the assistant referee on this side has flagged for offside. And Johnny Maxted with ball in hand, he won't be able to take too long over this, because he obviously has received the only yellow card of the afternoon for running the clock down. You'd forgive him for doing it now, Tim, but he can't do it because he's already had a yellow card on 70 minutes for doing exactly that. Maxted will take this free kick then. towards Offacourt, over Offacourt's head in fact, and Jack Price heads it back towards Miracle Offacourt, who tries to flick the ball onto Connor Hall, but it's going to roll out of play for a Southend United throw. And the black cloud that was obscuring the sun has moved away. I'll be relying on you, Tim, to tell me what's going on over on the far side, because you're standing up to try and avoid that sun. As Walker brings the ball over halfway to Parallon. Parallon to Ralph on that left touchline. Sorry, to Bridge rather. Bridge turns well and finds Miley in the centre of the field. Miley out to Coker. Coker closed down by Morgan Roberts, but it's back to Miley. Miley into Bridge. Parallon over on the left side gets the ball from Jack Bridge. Chance here, shot in, and it's a goal for Southend United. And it's Parallon with the goal. Deep into stoppage time. 5 minutes of stoppage time gone. Parallon gets his shot away from the left edge of the penalty area, and it's nestled in the bottom left-hand corner. And after all their resolve and all their resolution, Brackley Town trail Southend by 1-0 with just a couple of minutes to go. Southend 1, Brackley Town 0. Tim.
Well, I'm sure that Southend supporters will feel that their team deserve that. They've peppered Johnny Maxted's goal with shots throughout this second half. It will feel desperately unfortunate for Brackley though, because they've defended so resolutely and have almost made it to the 95th minute without conceding. But that's all it takes, one moment. And you have to say that was an excellent finish. It was a super finish, really. Cut inside and found that bottom corner. And now all that remains is, can Brackley strike back in these remaining 2 or 3 minutes? Just create an opportunity to get this equaliser.
2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go then. Southend United 1, Brackley Town 0. A hammer blow really deep into stoppage time. Brackley so close to pinching a draw here at Roots Hall, but now the home side are looking perhaps for a second goal as the ball's played down the left to Dallas. Dallas brought down by Tyler Little, and it's a free kick to the home side. And the ball is in the wrong end of the field from a Brackley perspective as we head into the last couple of minutes of the game. So disappointing, because Gavin Cowan could have been so proud with the way that his side defended against a really good home side. They've got a very good home record, cheered on by 8,000 supporters, and it was so close. And I'm not sure that Southend will be in a huge hurry to take this either, because there's only a minute of the 8 to go. We'll take you back to Hillsborough shortly when this game is over, but it's a minute to go. Free kick to Southend United. Walker takes the ball to the corner flag. Cleared away, but only to Parallon, the goal scorer. Back to Parallon again. He's going to take the ball back towards the corner flag. This time he loses out, and now Tyler Little has a little bit of a tussle on the touchline, and there's going to be just a little word from the referee here. No yellow card shown, which I think is good. He's refereed okay today, the match officials. We're into the last minute then of the 8 added on. There would be a little bit more, I guess, because we had the stoppage for the time off added on for the goal. But it's really last chance saloon time now for Brackley. They need to get the ball up the other end, and at the moment they're playing it back to the goalkeeper, who plays it up over halfway looking for Offacourt to flick the ball on. He does so, but it's found Miley. Miley plays the ball over the top for Josh Walker. Walker closed down well, and then chance here. Now there's a chance for Dallas, and it's 2-0. And Andy Dallas has made it 2. So two goals in stoppage time for Southend. There's a possible foul in the build-up there, maybe, but Andy Dallas, who had the ball in the net in the first half, offside, has sealed the match for Southend. And it doesn't feel like a game that Brackley deserved to be losing 2-0, but that is the score. It's Brackley Town's woes on the road again, because it's now Southend United 2, Brackley Town 0. And in a few moments we'll have that final whistle. But Tim, your thoughts? That was so disappointing because they haven't deserved this.
No, these two really late, two added time goals have delighted the home fans, the home faithful, and not a single person left the ground. Everybody's waited because it felt as if a goal was perhaps coming. But in fairness, Brackley have created next to nothing in this second half by way of a goal threat themselves.
Yeah.
And defended superbly until this added time and these two goals that feels unfair, but at the same time, from a Southend point of view, you have to say their performances deserve the win.
It could even get worse because Josh Walker's bursting down the left again into the penalty area, gets a shot in, and I think that's been deflected, and it has another corner as we head into the 100th minute here at Roots Hall. But there's no time for the corner because the referee, Gareth Rhodes, blows the full-time whistle, and the final score here at Roots Hall is Southend United 2, Brackley Town 0.
100, 9-100. Wasn't it the game from BBC Radio Oxford Sport is next. This is Wasn't It the Game from BBC Radio Oxford Sport, live in South Yorkshire. Oxford United have just won on the road. Brannigan, decent ball in, chipped in by Brannigan, Spencer can't get there, Davis can, and Oxford United have taken the lead through Will Lancashire with a diving header. Good ball into the penalty area. Lancashire celebrates his fourth goal in Oxford United colours, and if you're writing a script for Gary Rowett's side, it probably said get yourself in front early on. They've done just that. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford United 1. Brannigan's got a free kick 30 yards out. He looks like he's going to hit it, and he scores it! It veers away from the goalkeeper but creeps inside the post. Cameron Brannigan doubles Oxford United's lead with another fierce free kick. Bannon tries to play it in, heavy touch. Can they keep it alive? Cut back and come and get something on it. It breaks through and Curry does really well to get it away first. And the shot comes in, that is a goal. The home side has got one, and it's Fisera who's hit it. A real hard smacked effort through the crowded penalty area, but United were never set, and at that point they were still down to 10 men, and now it is game on at Hillsborough. They were down to 10 men because Brannigan had to go off injured earlier on. Brodie Spencer also going off injured. United were playing calamity defending at times, but they got away with it. What do you want to say? 0808 100 9100 to get your voice on BBC Radio Oxford. You can also do it with a WhatsApp voice note 08000 321 333. We'll take your texts, we'll take your social media messages on X as usual. Nick Harris is with us from BBC Radio Oxford Sport, and Eddie Odiambo, the former Oxford United defender as well. But we want to hear from you. This is Wasn't It the Game? So, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Oxford United 2, the result. But Nick Harris, it's hard to believe we're saying this at full time, where Oxford were at half time, but they got out of jail in the end.
They certainly did, Jerome, and don't you hate games of two halves? And my golly, wasn't this a game of two halves? Because after United, well, I won't say they were comfortable in the first half, but they got that 2-goal lead, but then they were battered by Sheffield Wednesday, battered by Bannon, and somehow they felt held on. Not comfortable in the first half, but they got the 2 vital goals. What they didn't want to do, and we said it at half-time, was concede an early goal in the second half. That's exactly what happened. And they also lost the skipper, Cameron Brannigan, with an injury. And then it was one-way traffic. Yeah, absolutely battled. Did they deserve 3 points, United? Nah.